Hey, top of the day to you. My name is Mike. I'm your host. This is the Freight Broker TV podcast. We lovingly refer to it as FBTV Podcast. I am also the lead consultant with Taltoa. Find Taltoa at taltoa.com, TALTOA.com. We are a transportation and logistics training and consulting company. We train, consult freight brokers, trucking companies, and such. If you're thinking about a new career, maybe as a freight broker agent, check us out. I want to remind you, too, we have started a new series on the Taltoa YouTube channel. You'll find that at Taltoa. That's my shirt. I was looking, never mind. I saw two logos. Wait a minute, but it's my shirt. Never mind. Anyway, the Taltoa YouTube channel, we have a few minutes with Taltoa now. And that'll be a regular feature. It'll be, I'm not going to say daily, but it's going to be, I think a couple of 2-3 times a week anyway, but you can check us out there. Have any questions about our packages, consulting, training, placement, feel free to call me, 479-668-0838. You can, again, visit the website at taltoa.com. So here we are. We are working our way towards tax day. Tax day, by the way, is going to be, the deadline is April 18th this year, in case you didn't know, because the 15th falls on Saturday. Here's a question for you. Somebody answer this for me. Why do they have quarterlies due around the same day as your regular taxes are due? That makes no sense to me. It's kind of like a double whammy. It's hard enough writing one check to those knuckleheads up there in Washington, but to have to write two at the same time, give me a break. Tuesday, April 11th, you got questions, comments, feel free to email me, fbtv@freightbrokertv.com. Visit our website, freightbrokertv.com as well. We have forms there on the website. You can submit questions or send me a message, whatever you like. April 11th, today is Barbershop Quartet Day, Cheese Fondue Day. I like cheese fondue. I know it's a thing of the, 60s, 70s, but it's still good if you get the right cheese and the right bread. 8-track day. Yeah, the 8 tracks like we used to have in the car. You'd think I'd still have a few. Didn't you? You remember the 8 tracks? Right in the middle of a song, click. Anyway, it is what it is. 8-track day, Be Kind to Lawyers Day. Yeah, that's something we want to do, isn't it? Lawyers. You don't like them until you need them. And then you hope you got a good one. Today, we're going to be talking about double brokering. Got to hit on that during morning coffee the other day. And we're going to be hitting on that, too, coming up on the few minutes with Taltoa feature on the Taltoa YouTube channel. Be looking for that. Double brokering, that's turning out to be news again. We're going to go cover it a little bit, but the few minutes with Taltoa, when we get into it there, probably be in the next couple of days. When we get into it there, we are going to show you how to protect yourself, be it a trucking company or even a broker. Probably for the broker more than the trucking company, but still, the trucking company be able to follow the same steps that we suggest to our broker clients to be able to make sure you're not being double brokered. Double brokering's bad for everybody. All right, bottom line, a double brokered load, the rate's been dipped into twice before it gets to the truck, and that's not good for anybody. You look at these fuel prices right now. Matter of fact, tomorrow's morning coffee with Taltoa, we're going to be talking about the fuel prices, fuel and spot rate update coming up tomorrow. But look at these fuel prices. And then look at the rates. It's way, way off. And Washington's not doing anything about it. But anyway, today's impossible question. What percentage does DoorDash lead the other food delivery services? What percentage does DoorDash lead the other delivery services? Any idea? Hopefully I'll remember to answer. I know I forgot to answer the other day, but hopefully you found the answer on Morning Coffee, because we answered it the next day. Hey, if you want a neat coffee mug, I got other stuff in it right now. And this one, you got the FBTV Podcast mug. You can pick that up on our website, freightbrokertv.com. Check it out. You can order it today. It should be in your mailbox a couple of weeks from now. Having a birthday, you're in pretty good company. Birthdays today, New York Governor Hugh Carey was born on this day. Remo Williams, Cabaret, you know who I'm talking about? Joe Gray, he was born on this day back in 1932. He's 91 today. Can you believe that? That blows me away. Peter Reichert, I believe that's how you pronounce his name. He was in Animal House. He was born on this day. And Jennifer Esposito, Spin City, Blue Bloods, NCIS. She was with that in that movie with Will Smith too. Don't stop me. What was it? Hitch? I think that was her in that. Anyway, she's having a birthday today too. The big 50. It's okay. She 49 yesterday, 50 today. How do women handle that? I don't know, guy. Well, me anyway. When I got to a certain point, it was like, who cares anymore? Who cares? What else we got going on here? Oh, today in history, back in 1921, Iowa became the first state to impose a cigarette tax. I used to smoke. I don't know more. And if you smoke, I'd recommend you give it up. Health reasons. Yeah, they put a stent. The stent, go in the hospital to get a stent, be out doing your same thing tomorrow. You know, it's pretty much a no-brainer. But man, they cracked that chest open. That hurts. So, if you smoke, you may want to give it up. You know, these, I'm not preaching here, but these vapes, I'm not sure about that either. I don't know what's in that stuff. I'd rather smoke a cigarette than a vape. Isn't that crazy? But anyway, I don't smoke anymore. Haven't for 4 years, so don't plan on taking it up again. Jackie Robinson made his debut in the Major League Baseball back in 1947 on this day. Exhibition game between the Brooklyn Dodgers and the New York Yankees. 1970, Apollo 13. It was made into a movie. Tom Hanks. Who else was in that? I'm going blank, but I know Tom Hanks was in it. Anyway, Apollo 13 launched on a mission to the moon. Remember, it blew up. The explosion crippled the spacecraft. They managed to get back safely. Pretty good movie, too. This day back in 1981, President Reagan returned to the White House after 12 days off. You know why he was off? He was recuperating from an assassination attempt on his life. John Hinckley, who has been released from prison, if you didn't know that. Here's some stuff about John Hinckley, kind of wild. July 27, 2016, a federal judge ruled that Hinckley could be released from St. Elizabeth's on August 5th of the same year, a few days later, as he was no longer considered a threat to himself or others. I wonder how they figured that out. Hinckley was released from institutional psychiatric care on September 10th, 2016, with conditions. One, it was required to live full-time at his mom's home in Williamsburg, Virginia. Plus, he had these prohibitions imposed on him. No drinking alcohol. No possession of firearms, ammunition, other weapons, or memorabilia of Jodie Foster. He could not contact Reagan's family, Brady's family, Jodie Foster, Foster's family, or even Foster's agent. If you remember going back, he blamed Jodie Foster for it, trying to get her attention. He had a big crush on her. Yeah, that'll do it. He got her attention, none the way he'd wanted, but anyway. He's prohibited from watching or listening to violent movies, television, or compact disc. Well, no watching movies, I guess. He's prohibited from accessing printed or online pornography. He's prohibited from online access to violent movies, television, music, novels, or magazines. He cannot speak to the press. He's prohibited from visiting present or past homes of the current or past president or certain or past or present government officials. He's prohibited from visiting graves of past presidents or certain past government officials. Don't get that. Anyway. He was prohibited from driving from his mom's home more than 30 miles or 30 miles unattended or 50 miles when attended. And he was prohibited from erasing his computer's web browser history. There was also requirements he has to meet. He has to work at least 3 days per week, has to leave immediately if he finds himself approaching prohibited spaces like a cemetery where a past president was buried. He's required to record his browser history. Is required, although the court ordered a risk management assessment to be completed with 18 months of his release. Well, it's the government. As of May 2018, it had not been done. Now let's move forward. November 16th, 2018, Judge Friedman ruled Hinckley can move out of his mom's house in Virginia and live on his own upon location approval from his doctors. On September 10th, 2019, Hinckley's attorney stated that he had planned to ask for full unconditional release from the court orders that determined how he could live by the end of the year. Let's fast forward to September 27th, 2021. Federal judge approved Hinckley for unconditional release beginning June of 2022. And wrapping this all up, on June 15th, 2022, Hinckley was fully released from court restrictions. So the guy shot the president, shot Brady. I think somebody in that mess was killed too, weren't they? Here we are 40 years later, whenever it was. Well, when was, let's see, 81, 42 years later. And he's out on the streets. All right, what else? 1985, scientists announced that they have measured the exact distance to the moon, give or take an inch. 1985. 1969, man landed on the moon. You'd think they would have had a pretty good idea, give an inch or two, of how far away it was. Okay, in the Strange Law Department, men may not be seen publicly in any kind of a strapless gown in Florida. I'm not thinking that's enforced anymore. You know what I mean? Anyway. Right, transportation. What's going on in the transportation area? Rule requiring automatic emergency braking system for trucks under review by the White House. Well, it's always good to know the White House is doing something. But this, it makes you go, what are they doing now? They're going to screw something up. When I read the headline, I wasn't real thrilled about it. It didn't sound right. Automatic emergency braking systems. That just has disaster all over it. Anyway, federal agencies are pushing forward a new rule to require automatic emergency braking systems on heavy trucks. Yeah, that's Class 8. NHTSA and FMCSA have issued a joint rule proposal to the White House for consideration. The proposal would require and or standardized equipment performance for automatic emergency braking systems on big trucks. The rulemaking is expected to propose performance standards and motor carrier maintenance requirements for AEB systems on heavy trucks and accompany test procedures for measuring the performance of the AEB systems in NHTSA compliance testing. Now, the rule would require White House approval prior to publication in the Federal Register, where it's going to be open for public content and review, drivers, you got to get out there. You got to get out there and give them your thoughts on this. This is a disaster just waiting to happen. Because one, you're going to be counting on some type of computer to engage the emergency brake systems. I would hate to be behind the wheel of a truck knowing that at any time, if there was some type of failure, this emergency brake system could engage and might kill me or somebody else. Definitely cause an accident, more than likely. Yeah, those emergency brakes engage. The person behind you is going to find that DOT bumper pretty quick, don't you think? Anyway, while groups like the Truck Safety Coalition, they've been pushing for lawmakers to move forward with AEB requirements for heavy trucks. OIDA, I stand with OIDA on this. They've been asking a lot of questions about it. In response to a 2021 bill requiring advanced driver assistance, ADAS, including AEB, on all new motor vehicles, OIDA said that members have routinely shared practical concerns with current AEB technology, including difficulty controlling trucks. Of course, once the brakes lock up like that, you're out of control. Difficulty controlling trucks in inclement weather should they engage. Unwarranted activations. And highly distracting warnings and false alarms. So we'll keep you up on that. We'll watch it. But more than likely, it's going to go through. Comments going to be coming up. But you guys got to get active on this. Get out there and comment on it. All right. This kind of... Don't see this in the news very often. New Mexico highway closed. What was it? Friday, I believe. This past Friday. Yep. A truck ran into a helicopter. Officials in New Mexico reported that a major crash involving a helicopter occurred on Highway 60 this past Friday. The crash was reported by Valencia County Fire Department shortly before 11 a.m. Local outlet KOAT reported that a semi-truck collided with the rotors of a medical helicopter as part of a secondary accident on Highway 60 east of Highway 47. So obviously the truck got too close and found the chopper blades. Don't know how that could happen. Helicopter was damaged and required towing away from the scene. That's according to VCFD. How does that happen? I'll tell you how it happens. When I was driving, I had to go to, where was it? I was up in Washington State. No, Oregon. Salem, Oregon. Salem, Oregon, to pick up a load of Christmas trees. I've been dispatched to pick up a load of Christmas trees. This was around early November, I guess, way back when. And when I had to, well, there's a story leading up to the story I'm getting to, but going up the mountain, man, I thought, oh my gosh, I didn't follow the directions or didn't get the right directions because I was on a dirt road, very narrow, going up this mountain. I was like, there's no way. Finally, about halfway up, I found a place I could pull off, saw some people out in a garden off to my left. And I set my parking brakes, got on the running board of the truck, opened the door and got on the running board. And I saw a couple of heads pop up and they motioned me forward. Go on, you're right. Like, not the first time a big truck has stopped there to double check. Because I was thinking, man, if this is not right, I am going to have to back down this mountain. We're going to have to get the state police and everybody else up here because this is going to be an all-day job. But when they told me going up, it made me feel a lot better. Anyway, I got up to the top. I checked in to pick up my load, and I had to sign a waiver. And this waiver stated, I had to sign it. Said it was a waiver that I would yield to helicopters. That just struck me as so strange. Kind of made me laugh because, well, for them to have a waiver like that, it sort of made me think that somebody hadn't yielded to a helicopter. And so they got that waiver. Yeah, they use the helicopters, up on top of the mountain. I was at a staging area. The helicopters, well, they cut the Christmas trees down. They wrap them up in this nylon material, throw them on a net, and the helicopter comes along, pick up the net with all these Christmas trees and come drop it. But it just cracked me up. I thought, somebody didn't yield. All right, here's a new EPA rule. Well, overturn anyway. A rule to overturn an EPA rule. But don't hold your breath. Resolution to overturn strict emission standards on heavy-duty trucks has now been introduced in the House and the Senate. And I might get your name wrong. I apologize if I do. Representative Troy Nehls of Texas submitted on April 6th a joint resolution in opposition to the Environmental Protection Agency's final rule that aims to impose stringent clean air standards for heavy-duty trucks, beginning with model year 2027. In February, Deb Fischer of Nebraska introduced a similar measure in the Senate. To overturn an EPA rule, don't hold your breath. You know what I mean? Good luck. We'll keep you up to date. I'm sure it's going to be out there somewhere talking about it. All right, if you're on the road right now today and you're listening to this podcast and over here today or the next couple of days, and today is April 11th, Utah closes highways because of a threat of avalanche. The threat of large destructive avalanches near the Big and Little Cottonwood Canyons is great enough that the Utah Department of Transportation has closed State Routes 210 and 190. State Route 190 is going to be closed from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Mountain through April 13th. While the closure of State Route 210 is indefinite, that's according to the Utah DOT. All right. Here's a good story. We talked about this a couple of years ago when it happened, back in 2020, 3 years ago, I guess, close to it. Anyway, there was this guy, trucking company owner. He got on a plane going out to Arizona to buy a new truck. Or buy his company a new truck. Probably a new used truck. He was going to he was going out there to attend an auction to buy a truck. He had $39,500 with him in cash. Not smart, but a lot of these auctions, I guess they only take cash. Well, he had the cash boxed up in his carry-on bag. In cardboard boxes. Well, they found it, and guess what happened? They seized it. Well, he got his money back. Finally. An Arizona court has ruled that a small business trucking company owner is owed interest on cash seized when he flew to Phoenix to buy a truck at an auction. The Arizona Superior Court for I should know this because it's on the news all the time, Maricopa County, dismissed the state's civil asset forfeiture case to keep Jerry Johnson's $39,500 in a ruling dated back just a week ago. The ruling said he is also owed 9% interest for the loss of his use of his property and is eligible to be compensated for his attorney's fees. Yeah, it says the money was returned and the state paid less than 0.8% in interest, which is way below the statutory rate for judgment. But anyway. Johnson owns Triple J Logistics, licensed in Maryland. He works from the Charlotte, North Carolina area, hauling dry van freight. He was expecting to add a third truck to his fleet when he flew to Phoenix to attend a Ritchie Brothers auction. Johnson was not charged with the crime when his money was taken from him. The money was seized through civil asset forfeiture, a process by which the money was deemed guilty regardless of whether the person possessing it is even charged with the crime. Law enforcement officers at the airport suggested the money was illegal drug money being laundered. Johnson had a couple of drug possession convictions for more than a decade before the money was seized, which gave them what they thought was the right to add $39,500 to their coffers. He got it back. I'm sure that's not over. Keep you up to date on that as it becomes available too. All right, tax day. We're going to be talking about taxes coming up later this week on one of the morning coffees. You don't want to miss that. We're going to have some IRS U.S. tax facts. What else we got going on this morning? I don't get it, but okay, it is what it is. Climate change may be affecting baseball games. Give me a break. Kind of cracked me up when I read this. Climate change is making Major League Baseball sluggers into even hotter hitters. Hurting the ball harder hitters, sending an extra 50 or so home runs a year over the fences. That's according to a new study. 100,000 Major League games were analyzed and more than 200,000 balls put into play in the last few years, along with weather conditions, stadiums, and other factors. It's basic physics. When air heats up, molecules move faster and away from each other, making the air less dense. Baseballs launched off a bat go farther than through thinner air because there's less resistance to slow the ball. But more times than not, the majority of the time, it's already hot. You know what I mean? You got to go back and you got to look at the games played during the heat of the summer as well. I don't know. I just called me. I thought, come on, heat, climate change, come on. Anyway. All right, here's something for you. If you're having trouble sleeping, exercising can wipe out the damage of poor sleep. Getting just the right amount of sleep is crucial. Sleeping too little or too much can cut years off your life. But a new study has good news. Exercise can counteract the negative effects of poor sleep and even help people live longer. High-quality sleep and exercise are two things you hear about often as individual contributors to a longer life. And as I can't believe it unless I see it department, a man convinced he saw a Civil War veteran's ghost. Man says his family has been seeing ghosts on his property for decades, but no video, no pictures, just like Sasquatch, or at least not in focus. Why is it there are no in-focus pictures of Sasquatch? You know what I mean? Bigfoot. They're always out of focus, always blurry. I saw a picture the other day that in Texas, even Texas people can't figure out what it is. To me, I think it's a feral hog. But anyway, they don't know what it is. But anyway, you may have seen it. Maybe you didn't. I should have. Well, I'm not going to pull it up now. Anyway, man says he's been seeing ghosts on his property for decades. He and his family. He claims he sees something or someone dressed in a Confederate Army uniform. Though it looks like it's been turned into rags. He's very thin. The man who sees these ghosts does not interact with him. Don't blame him. In turn, the ghost does not interact with people, nor respond to dogs barking at him. The dogs bark. The man who claims he sees these spirits has said it's been like this for years. Well, get your camera. Get some people up there. There's a lot of TV shows dying to find a real ghost somewhere. All right, what else? We're getting close to wrapping this puppy up. Some things you might want to know. In the Seattle area, thieves got a hold to get into a coffee shop. Once they were inside the coffee shop, they broke into the Apple store next door and stole over 400 iPhones. And I'm sure these iPhones, they're going to find them pretty quickly. You know, I'm sure once they're activated, it's going to go into the network, and Apple is going to send an alarm out to Apple. Hey, here they are. The Resident TV show on Fox. I was watching it for a long time. Pretty good show in the beginning. Then, I don't know all the characters, but that girl that played in Revenge, they killed her off. And just kind of lost interest after that. To be honest with you, I kind of figured it'd be ending after they killed her off. Valerie Bertinelli announced that season 14 of her cooking show, Valerie's Home Cooking on the Food Network, will be her last. Hate to hear that because I missed every single one of them. Gonna love this. A new housing development in Arizona called Cuddlesack Tempe claims to be the first car-free neighborhood. That's where I want to live. The first car-free neighborhood in the U.S. No personal vehicles will be allowed, but you can utilize ride shares via Lyft and car sharing via Envoy, a community-based electric car sharing service and platform. Give me a break. And you know, there's people going to probably buy homes in there and going to be excited about it. There was a push for people coloring potatoes for Easter instead of eggs. Never caught on, I guess. I never heard anything about it till now. Mainly due to the high expense of eggs. It's gone down some, but not like it was. Here's a feel-good story in Florida where Geraldine Gimlet spent her life savings to help a daughter fight cancer. Well, she bought a scratch lottery ticket, won $2 million. Isn't that cool? Usually it's, well, no, I'm not going to say that. I was going to say usually the people that win a lot of money are the people that don't need a lot of money. But that's not really true, is it? All right, pay attention if you got kids, grandkids, nieces, nephews. Lifeguards are recommending you don't choose blue as a color for your kid's bathing suit. They say it's harder to see in the water. And if they need to be rescued, well, they want to be able to see them. In the Did You Know department, 40% of couples say they do laundry separately. All right. I'm in the other 60%. See, it takes an average of 3 minutes, 45 seconds to wait in a drive-through line. I don't know who keeps up with this stuff, but that's the average. It's estimated that one in every $50 doctors is phony. Yeah, one in every 50 doctors is a phony. I don't know what that means. They're not really a doctor, just acting like they are. Okay, here's some game show trivia for you. If you're ever on a game show, the Grand Canyon can hold around 900 trillion footballs. The first Burger King was opened in Miami, Florida back in 1954. There's something kind of weird. According to a recent survey, if you take a vacation during the summertime, you'll likely gain about 10 pounds. Eating and driving, sitting a lot. And here we are. About 28% of people would attend a garage sale in the next month. How about that? I always thought October and fall was a big month for garage sales, but spring too, I reckon. All right, let's wrap this up. Get out of here today. Before we get out of here, today's impossible question. What percentage does DoorDash lead the other food delivery services? I've never used any of them, to be honest with you, because they charge extra. But anyway, DoorDash leads the others by about, over 50% is what it says. All right, remember Tautoa website, tautoa.com. If you're thinking about becoming a freight broker agent, maybe you're a trucking company and you're wanting to get away from using a broker for all your loads, we can help you with that. Check us out, tautoa.com. Have any questions, call me, 479-668-0838. Don't forget Tautoa YouTube channel, youtube.com/Tautoa. Our first a few minutes with Tautoa just dropped this morning, so we're talking about the road check coming up next month. So check that out. Morning coffee with Tautoa every morning, Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. But be looking for that in the morning. You can check it out too. It's the podcast. This video podcast, where you can find it on YouTube, on the Freight Broker TV YouTube channel, which you'll find at youtube.com/Freight Broker TV. But also you'll find the audio on your favorite podcasting app. Same thing with the morning coffee. And I'm sure it's going to be the same way with the Tautoa, a few minutes with Tautoa, but just not yet. But it will be. Anyway, go have a great Tuesday, unless, of course, you've made other plans. I will talk to you in the morning. Morning coffee with Tautoa. Take care.